This is Soccer Matters
on ESPN 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
Brought to you by the Daspit Law Firm, DaspitLaw.com. Broadcasting live from the mobile Huntington Bank Studios, located at Senate Avenue Brewing Company in Jersey Village. Here's Glenn Davis.
And we're back, everybody. This is Andrew, the mayor from Senate Avenue Brewing Company. Thanks for joining us this evening. If you're looking for a spot to watch the World Cup this summer, our spot's the place to be. We have many TVs, craft beer, award-winning craft beer, food, a place for the kids to run around. So check us out, Senate Ave on Instagram, and we're bringing it back to Glenn.
Andrew, I have to put you on the spot. When are we going to get that Soccer Matters beer out? What are we thinking? What kind of beer is it going to be?
I want something light and crisp, something that soccer players can come in after they played a game.
I like that.
And refreshing, easy peasy. So probably like a light lager. So maybe about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Before the World Cup.
All right, we're holding you to it.
All right.
It's going to be.
You put me on the spot.
It's going to break all records for selling beer here at Senate Avenue Brewing. I promise you. All right, Andrew. Thank you for that. Eddie says he's going to buy the first.
I'll buy the first case.
The thing is, this is fresh craft beer. You're not getting this out in the public. You got to come here to get it, right, Andrew? Yeah, I'm not saying anything out of order. Okay, welcome back, everybody. 4-time Major League Soccer MLS Cup winner, San Jose Houston Dynamo, played at the University of North Carolina, is in their Hall of Fame. He is Eddie Robinson. Let's give him a round of applause. And, of course, Olivier Finidori, Houston Hotshots, Cy-Fair Dynamos, remains with us. And Eddie knows Olivier very well because Eddie has contributed a lot of hours to our Kick Cancer Soccer clinics and has always been out there and has been one of the go-to guys that I can go to anytime. And he's just, Glenn, I'll do it, and I'll do the same for him too. So, Eddie, thank you for all that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Glenn. I appreciate Olivier including me in all of that stuff. I love giving back.
Yeah, and that's what you do. So, speaking of that, I want you to preview our next segment with Phil and Matthew.
Yeah, we're having a Special Olympics soccer tournament being hosted by HTX, the youth club here in Houston, a big youth club. You'll have one of their directors on with one of our athletes that's going to be playing in the tournament in April at Bear Branch Park. So stick around for the next segment, and you'll hear all about it.
So that's Phil Ebner and Matthew. What's
Barrett.
Matthew's last name?
Matthew Barrett.
Matthew Barrett.
And he will be in Minnesota this summer.
On.
He'll be in Minnesota this summer representing Texas at the Special Olympics USA Games.
Everybody look back there. There's Matthew. Give him a round of applause. All right, Matthew. He's going to be in the Special Olympics. That's awesome. Minnesota, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Eddie, let's talk a little bit about Major League Soccer. How much of it have you watched this year, and some early impressions from you?
Overall. To be honest, I watched Miami's first game against LAFC, and it was a bit shocking how bad Messi needs his former teammates. You go to Luis Suarez, who was on the bench. You look at the midfield, you look at Jordi Alba at right back, and now without those players, teams can address him with multiple defensive options, and all of a sudden, Miami doesn't look like this gigantic star crusher like they were last year.
But to be fair, they've just won their last two games, and they look pretty good.
Fair, but then again, LAFC is...
Is that the primo team for you?
For me right now, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
But what does right now matter in MLS? 18 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, that was a big deal when there were only 20 teams in the league. There were only 20 teams in the league, but now we got 32, so maybe it's a little bit more.
But here's the thing, and I don't want to be known for beating a dead horse, but when it's that easy to get in the playoffs, it affects urgency. It affects competition. It affects really, really good games. It's a long season. You hear from coaches all the time. So I say that jokingly, but in reality, it is something that has to be addressed because it does allow for people to get very, very comfortable.
Well, I don't buy that anymore because back in 2006, not only did we play in CONCACAF Champions League and our entire league season, which was 34 games, we also played in the Champions Tournament where it was Mexico versus United States, and it was $1 million to win Interliga. $1 million. We played almost 60 games that year. I remember there was a weekend we played Saturday in Houston, Tuesday in Charleston, Thursday in Chicago, Saturday again in Houston. Nobody was complaining about it.
Yeah, but you're talking about the attitude of players. I'm talking about the fact
the organization itself. You can't complain about that. I don't buy it.
People complain about it.
Well, sorry, I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah. But remember, you guys were successful. That's why you were put in all these tournaments. So it wasn't the norm for everybody. I'm saying 18 teams make the playoffs. So urgency does not have to be – doesn't have to exist. You just got to turn it on at the right time. You got to earn a decent amount of points. You may not have to sell a player. If it was an urgent time, you might not have gotten rid of Griffin Dorsey because you're saying you got to keep this guy here. We can't get rid of him. But now you have time to figure this whole thing out with your two outside backs, and you have time to do that. Do you agree with that, Olivier, or not?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean,
I really do. I'm not a big fan of these big playoffs.
Yeah.
Big teams playoffs.
So what could we do? Could we put less teams in the playoffs, maybe? Would that help it? I think so.
I think so too. At least you'd have the top teams that deserve it the most, the ones that win the most, the most consistent teams at the end.
14, then that's kind of an odd number. I would say 16. I would say go to 16, play in one-offs. If you seeded higher, if you had the better record in the regular season, you're the higher seed. You play at home.
I think it's all designed to keep everybody involved. It's the way sports is going. You don't ever want your team to be, quote-unquote, out of the playoffs too quickly, and that's just kind of the way it goes.
And we have to some extent, keep in mind the American sports fan, because this is what they've always known. No matter how old you are, you grew up with Major League Baseball, NFL football, hockey, basketball. You've got these playoffs, and every MLS player will tell you when the playoffs comes around, your attitude is completely different because these games do matter more. Now, there's an argument to be said that, well, why don't you play like that during the regular season? Why does this have to change when the playoffs come around? That's a great question. I agree with that because I don't think any of my teammates ever treated a game different, whether it was playoffs or regular season. First game of the season, last game of the season, MLS Cup final. We never treated it different.
The thing is that the team that you were part of, Eddie, the way you guys were playing was totally different than the way it is now. Sorry.
It's fair.
I used to be a huge fan of going to watch you guys.
That's fair.
What you guys brought here, I haven't seen since. Okay, to be perfectly honest.
And by the way, you lean more towards my era and Olivier's era where we're still trying to make the sport acceptable in the country. Sure. We're fighting for it. I mean, I used to hear you guys complain about the locker rooms at Robertson Stadium, and I'd say, oh, you didn't see ours. We didn't even have any. We had to go to HBU to practice and get kicked out by the NBA Rockets after. They'd be yelling at us, and we're still trying to get the soap off us. Get out, Bill Fitch comes in, Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, but you guys were fighting for the sport still then.
Yeah, and we were in there. When we were in there, it was ours. And we didn't care what it looked like or what it was. We were a group. We all cared about one thing. We didn't have to be friends off the field. There were guys that didn't get along off the field, but once you stepped on the field, you knew what your responsibilities were, and you could not look another teammate in the eye and expect the best out of them if you weren't doing the same. You had to hold yourself accountable before you could hold your teammates accountable. And that's something that's been lost.
And that was a culture created by Frank Yallop, and then Dominic Kinnear continued it on. And that's why we got, and I will say this till the day I die, we got the gift of the San Jose Earthquakes to Houston. Yes, we earned it because we were a good soccer market, but it was a gift because we got the best team in the league. Now, unfortunately, that was never sustained. Once Oliver Luck left, never was sustained. So we're in a 13-year abyss. Every once in a while, we make the playoffs. 2023, excellent team. Attendance doesn't rise. Media coverage doesn't rise. That's Jimi Hendrix feedback. There we go. So it is part of the history, and some people care about that, other people don't. They just want to go to the game and have a good time, right?
No, for sure, and that's the whole thing about this long season. If you have a lot of games that maybe not quite as meaningful, like we're talking about, that just about everybody's going to make the playoffs, for some of these players, maybe it's hard to go and turn it on and just really go and bring it to the level that would get people in the stands maybe excited. I'm not sure.
Well, and this goes back to the fact now that, you think about it when there were 12 teams my rookie year. Then it went down to 10 because 2 contracted. Yeah. Then a couple years later it went back to 12, and now it's been constantly growing. But even still, when there were 16 out of 20 making it, it's like, well, that's not really special. Yeah. Is it really special until you reach the last 4?
Well, I think
now it's just shy of half, but even still over half, I think, is too much.
I'm trying to look and see if there's a schedule for my year in here, but we played teams 4 times because there were so few teams.
I'll go back.
I mean, we got to know every single guy up and down on every single team.
I'll go to LA Galaxy. We would play them at least twice in the regular season. We'd play them 4 times or twice in preseason, 4 times in regular season. We would play them in U.S. Open Cup. There was a tournament in 2006 in Hawaii that we played them in. There were times we played them, if we played them in playoffs, 10 times a season. Yeah. So the familiarity breeds contempt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, boy.
It 100% does.
And now you've lost that,
He's Eddie Robinson. Eddie, did you watch some Champions League today?
I've watched Bayern Munich absolutely destroy Atalanta. My goodness. You could see Atalanta just give up after the third. What was that, the 25th minute that Bayern scored their 3rd goal?
Did you see those fans at the end?
Oh, my gosh.
Those Italian fans still singing for the teams at the end. That's pretty unusual.
Right?
That's
and
pretty
then
cool.
You go back and you look at Wolves when they beat Liverpool not so long ago, a couple weeks back. Worst team in the league. Liverpool fans are, huh? And then you go back to, Tottenham fans got up and left at halftime last weekend because they had a red card and
don't laugh.
2 goals again. No, that's okay. I see Man United jerseys over here. It's okay. Because, hey, ever since Carrick has come in, what a response that team has had.
We got Houston Red Army in the house, so thank you for coming out, guys.
Yeah.
Any other supporters group reps in here tonight that we need to know about? Anybody else? No?
We've got the Arsenal support group over here.
This is the
finally your year,
the French
so you don't mind
national
speaking
team
up,
supporters group. So this guy.
They give me dirty looks already. Look.
So we do this Monday Night Football with the artist Batiri, and we did one recently, which was the '98 World Cup when France hosted and won it. And of course, we brought Olivier out because he's French, and he's a huge French national team, Marseille,
Nice.
And I thought you were Marseille. No,
Nice.
Nice. I'm sorry.
We're not good buddies.
Fire the host. But talk about your love for the French national team and maybe some projection on what they may do in 2026 World Cup.
Well, I guess I've been really fortunate because growing up, France was never really what you would call a soccer power. We had a great World Cup in '58 when it was Pelé's first World Cup and he knocked us out. After that, France was very, very average. And then Michel Hidalgo took over, and the Michel Platini, the Dominique Rocheteau, the whole generation came along, and France just became just so much fun to watch. And, I was able to witness 4 World Cup finals and 3 Euro Championship finals, and they won 2 World Cups, 2 Euros. So I've been really, really lucky to witness that. So, yeah, the French, I still cry and sing for the French, and I really hope that this year they're gonna do okay. I never want to say too much because I'm not going to jinx them. I just know they have a fantastic team, lots of weapons, lots of depth. But there's so many great teams out there that, I just want them to be successful.
So, like L'Equipe newspaper, what is their projections? How are they covering the French national team now? Is it they're going to win the World Cup? What's their take?
No. First off, the French media is not exactly very supportive. They'll go and just tear you out every minute they can.
Sounds like the U.S.
Yeah, and right now Mbappe is a doubt with his knee, so we'll see what Real Madrid decides, whether or not they're going to want to use him now to end the season in the Champions League. If that's the case, he may not be able to play in the World Cup.
Well, I'll say this. 1996, my freshman year in college, guess who I had on my wall? Zinedine Zidane. Zizou, best player ever.
He named one of his kids Zizou.
My daughter.
His
Zizou.
daughter's name is Zizou.
Absolutely. That's my idol.
Platini, Thierry Henry, Mbappe,
Zizou.
Wow, the French. What a history. All right, we're going to talk more about that. Eddie Robinson, also Olivier Finidori. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you guys for coming out here tonight.
Thanks, Glenn.
All right, thank you, Olivier.